With preview season drawing to a close, we look west. The Pioneer League preview coming now on the Yuba Report podcast. We are back. The Pioneer League preview is here. It is opening day, and we're going to open up with a couple points of order before we really get going in the bonus episode for the Pioneer League preview. The first of those points of order are very simply, happy opening day, Pioneer League. It's been a long wait. We're in it now until the end of September. I hope all of you have fun. The second point of order is some of you guys really got to get on the ball here.
Good Lord.
This is absolutely I'm just going to call it an industry complaint, but this is more or less this is annoying me and Ryan because we had to do a preview, and half of the teams don't have a roster up yet. I did my work on Sunday night. 4 teams. 4 teams I had a roster for. I went back last night. I found 2 more. We're talking less than 24 hours before opening day. We don't have a roster up on the website. How am I supposed to do this preview? Because I'm not digging through transactions trying to figure out who's where, who's what, and hoping that whomever's job in the league office it is to enter transactions is doing it accurately and efficiently. Which, I have to be honest, I think logging league transactions is a little bit lower on the page when we're 24 hours away from opening day. So to any manager or any real Pioneer League member that either sent us a roster or made their roster available online, thank you. We'll be able to talk about your team. To the other 6 of you, I don't even know what we're going to talk about when we get to your spot. We may just skip you because I don't even know what to do here.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also annoying because it's like, oh, well, you can just do a really good, thorough job in the other teams. Well, not really, because we don't even know who they're playing. So it can't even, it's really hard to say what we think their win-loss will be when we have no idea who's on the team.
Exactly. And already this league is kind of tough to project because you're going off of pretty much college stats, draft league stats, and if they played in a higher indie league or affiliated ball, then you kind of gauge the flavor there. But that's not always exactly a 1-for-1 when you're dealing with guys that, by and large, their highest experience is maybe 4 games in AA, but more than likely high A. So it's really
that's the thing. It's also the league where it takes the longest time to project also.
Yeah.
So it's because of all that, because there's a lot more digging to get into things, which is fine. That comes with the territory. I'm not complaining about that part. Complaining about the fact that it's that
we don't know who's here.
Right. Yeah. It's just, God. All right. It's just annoying. That's all. Yeah. I'd like to do an in-depth thing, but I can barely get in-depth things done for anything right now. So I'm not promising anything because I'm busy trying to find a damn job. So whatever. It's just infuriating.
It's another hassle that's not really necessary. And even if you were to put up a spring training roster, because we got a couple of those, which then we got that final roster for, at least what we think is the final roster for it. You can work with that at least. Then I know what I'm dealing with, even if it is 40 names I got to dig through. Fine. But when I have nothing to go on, I can't do a projected number. I can't really do much. I can't really do who I think is going to be the postseason. I can't do really anything. So we're going to try to give you some length on this thing. There's no promises. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Maybe there'll be some follow-up. Probably not. We got 4 leagues to cover, so
exactly. Now everybody's playing. So I feel bad shortchanging the teams that they were supposed to do.
You can't be the last league to start and also not have your rosters posted. There it is.
So we'll try to squeeze more Pioneer League talk in throughout the year. Because I do admit that was kind of a blind spot and a weak spot last year. So we'll try to fix that. But until that point, it is what it is. We will get going with what we can do for the Pioneer League preview now that our complaining is over. They're going to play a 96-game schedule. It starts today, May 20th. It will wrap up on September the 7th. 2-half system, of course. May 20th through July 13th is the first half. Second half, July 14th through September 7th. As you guess, playoffs are going to start on the 9th of September. I didn't see anything formally saying it, but I didn't see anything saying they're changing it either. I believe it to be a 2-round postseason again, with a best of 3 and then a best of 5 championship. Fine. Top 2 teams from each half will make it to the postseason, and then if there's a repeat in there, a wild card will take their spot, which, if I'm not mistaken, is just best overall record. So,
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's best record from the 2 halves combined. So, there you go. 12 teams, no division. So, that is a large chunk of it as well. Interesting setup there. Don't dislike it, but I do think it is maybe not the best for a league that's so spread out. It doesn't really create an even schedule for this kind of thing. I think they benefit from a smaller, like either 4 divisions of 3 or 3 divisions of 4, something like that may have been a little bit better to work with. And then just take, either half champions or just overall champions that are, your division winners and 1 wild card. There's some way to work it out like that. That's a little bit easier to get it all, but hey, that's their decision. It gave us a good postseason last year, so I'm not really complaining. And then all games are going to be on Flow Sports. Ryan, how much does it cost for Flow Sports monthly?
$30 a month.
Is it worth $30 a month?
No.
Oh, okay, good. So
even to me, and I'm like way more in the weeds than anybody.
So hey, if you want to blow $30 a month
right now, where I'm watching every game today because it's the first day with every indie ball team playing,
and 2 of those games are underway right now.
Starting in 45
time
minutes.
Zones. Yeah,
time zones got you. See, we were just talking about it. That's what you get. What an appropriate start to the Pioneer League preview, though. Getting got by time zones.
Yeah, that's when we had a team in Arizona.
What's
just really
mountain time zone. What are we doing?
We got 2 teams in the Pacific, though.
Dude, thank God there's no Arizona team with their like weird
daylight
are we doing?
GPS.
Not that it doesn't really affect things, because mostly I think reservations are involved there. But anyway, don't get me involved with time zones. It's a whole conversation.
There shouldn't be time zones. There should be 1 time zone for everybody.
Should be Eastern time.
Exactly. That's the best one. 24.
So many people just got mad.
I don't care. They're in the dark longer than we are. Looking back at 24. Missoula Glacier first half winners. Oakland YOLO second half winners. YOLO beat Oakland in 3. Glacier beat Missoula in 2. YOLO beat Glacier in 4 to win a championship. We will overlook a lot of the negative things that occurred last year in the Pioneer League. Like, speaking of being in the dark, several teams playing without lights. But
I mean, a lot going on there.
Yeah, we won't talk about that right now. We want to try and keep it positive. We already complained to start this episode, so we won't talk about 24's headaches. And I'm sure we will be complaining about other things throughout the course of this one. So, that being said, do you have anything to talk about before we get into the 6 or so teams we can talk about?
No. I already shared my thoughts on their knockout round to solve tie game situation, I think a week or 2 ago. But other than that, that's about what I got here.
This fight's on the field, brother. That's the way to solve this.
Let's see what I have to say about these rosters that I barely have any idea of, and I probably won't for another few days, but it's fine.
All right. Sounds good. As we said in the beginning, we have 6 teams with rosters we can look at. Ironically, it's the first 2 alphabetically, the last 2 alphabetically, and I believe the 2 middle teams alphabetically. So everybody in between has just kind of screwed up. So we're going to start going through this alphabetically. If they don't have a roster, then we're just going to say there was no roster available. Screw them and move along. Or we could shit talk the organization. One or the other.
I don't know. I might have to resist the urge to even give projected wins and losses on this, because I don't like putting things on the record sometimes on here, and before I can really run the numbers on things, and then later I'm like, oh yeah, I changed my mind by 5 to 10 games, but whatever. I'll follow your beat.
I'm not doing projections for this. Like, let's be clear. There's 6 teams here. I can't project shit, and only half the league has a roster out.
Right.
So,
Pain.
All right. Let's get started with Billings. They finished 7th last year, no postseason. Couple of bats I like. There's not much in the way of pitching that I'm really overly thrilled about. But there are guys, Evan Blum, Pat Mills, AJ Shaver, Jack O'Dowd, all guys there. Berkey is another guy that I like. Willett is another interesting name pitching-wise. But overall, lacking a little bit of depth here. I understand, too, with the Pioneer League, it's a lot of unproven guys and a lot of guys that they may have a bat ERA or strikeout walk ratio and then go there and be better or worse, depending.
Right.
So it's hard for me to really confidently be like, yeah, I love these guys or not. But that said, those are just some names that kind of jump out as guys that might do something of note.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I actually did have some notes on this. I mean, debatably. I mean, they brought back some guys I was like a little surprised they brought back. Shoot, I'm just realizing how little I have to say about any of these teams. Damn it.
We may be under an hour on this preview, folks.
Because here's the thing, right? Okay, so I've had some guys like I do predictions on, and all of them have like 1-8 whips. I'm like, well, I don't know I'm going to do that. I like Shane Spencer. Count that. How about that? Shane Spencer, who got about 8 starts last year and like solid, honestly, can strike guys out, can actually ball in the zone, which is fun. Let's see. I think just like running through this and like, man, there's not a lot of familiar names though, huh?
Yeah.
Greg Blackman, he had some good moments last year, pitched a good bit, like covered some actual innings, 4 ERA. I think he became a rotation guy over the years, so that's good to bring him back. On the offensive side, I think I had a few more. I think Evan Blum was solid, but I felt like you could get more out of him. Yeah, I like to see a little more power at him. He had some power already, but like you felt like he could do a little more. Let's see. O'Dowd projected. I think they picked him up off of. I'm already gonna forget who, but maybe Idaho Falls. That doesn't feel right. But he's interesting, but he'd have to like kind of turn some things around, make a little more contact. Let's see, anyone else hanging out there that was like, ooh, like kind of hit the. I tend to do the projections from like best projected to worst, and it's not a great sign that there's not a lot with Billings right now.
I had O'Dowd coming out of college last year.
Yeah. Okay, that's right.
And
no, but who did he play for? Did he not play for him last year?
No, just the draft league, West Virginia and Texas.
Interesting. I wonder if he got picked up by someone else and moved because I don't know. I had him moving rosters at one point, but it doesn't matter. I would say, yeah. I mean, it's like literally, I don't have much to say on this roster. There are others I have more to say on. It's just that
this one is just not really
Billings being Billings, essentially. Riley Knight, but he hit 268 last year. Wouldn't expect him to do a lot more. What do I know? Jacob Klein's somewhat interesting. 25, though. 26, I guess, this year.
Yes, you kind of need more out of him in that league.
Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, I don't know. Dylan Leach could be interesting this year. Had a 1.0 OPS last year. Coming into his own. I think this is age 22 season coming up, so that's interesting. But, yeah, that's what I'd say to watch, at least.
Okay. Next one up we got is Boise, 5th last year, no playoffs. Cam Dayton, I like from a pitching perspective. Same thing with Blake McFadden. Batting wise, I do think there are some more names. You have a guy like Heigel, which I believe how we're going to pronounce it, Hjelle, who was in the American Association for a little bit last year, so that's kind of encouraging to me. Glenn Miller's interesting. Santini was with Washington for a hot second, if I'm not mistaken. John Soto's good there. There's a couple others in there. I think batting-wise, I like some of the pieces they got there. Again, pitching is tough, but pitching's always tough in the Pioneer League. So,
I mean, Cam Dayton and Evan Kowalski are solid bullpen options. I see a little improvement out of them this year. Kowalski might be what he's going to be, but Cam Dayton had a sub-5 ERA last year, which is pretty good in 35 innings coming out of the pen. But everyone's going to just walk people, which was like, I get it. There's a lot of avoiding bats in the Pioneer League too, which also elevates the walk rate. Yeah, looking at that offensive side that you were talking about here, let me see if I can at least. Joey Califoot didn't do a ton last year. Nope, there's really not much in the way of notes on these guys either. Great. So, I mean, I don't necessarily. Last year's situation was the pitching was really good, at least on the Pioneer League standard, and the hitting was league average. They did win more games than they lost, so it kind of adds up, but I look for them to, at least try to hold serve on the pitching side, and to see that many new names. One kind of makes sense because you would think they'd move on a little bit. New manager as well, so that's sort of a question mark. I don't know. I feel like they probably could be about a 50-49-ish win. I don't know. I don't want to put a number on it, but it would require a lot of deep diving into where all these guys came from, which has been something that we have not had a lot of opportunity to do yet. And the ones that we see from carryover were not overly, like, there were a couple good bullpen arms and one guy who I don't know how much he can bring to the table offensively.
Yeah, that's the thing I always come up with whenever doing the Pioneer League ones. I never know how people can react in the league, and while I am normally a offense guy, here everyone hits, so you really have to stand above to stand out and be able to carry with that. And the lack of pitching depth, especially compared to some of the teams that we still have left, some of the four, I don't necessarily think is quite there, and that's concerning to me.
Yeah, I think that's a go. I don't know if they've done enough to jump into that top four group that makes the playoffs, but again, hard to say until we see what everyone else looks like. But exactly. I'm not, I don't look at this and go, oh, they've improved with their manager change, and also that manager is also question mark with. So we'll see. But they did add what's his face, bench coach. God, I know it. Persky from the Pecos, who I like a lot. And I'm impressed. I'm excited to see what he can do.
Glacier would be up next, but they didn't present a roster. So, do we have any thoughts on the Glacier organization?
I mean, I've had some look at what they got going on.
Todd Press there.
Todd Pratt is there, and I believe he brought his kid in. I think that happened. To play. I think that's what I saw. I don't know. Okay. Same name. How many Pratts are working around? But yeah, I'm just seeing who I have in names I recognize. Kingston Liniak is back. He was crazy good. I think he's back. He was crazy good in short stint with them last year. So Gabe Howell's pretty good. Hit like 9 home runs in 66 games rather. So we'll keep an eye on that. On the pitching side, I don't know. They brought back a couple more guys who had a little bit of work. Cam Cohen was the one I was thinking of. He was all right last year, but not the guy I'd write home about necessarily. Jared Engman, he's interesting. When he can miss bats, he's really good. Can kind of keep some guys off base. Had a sub 4.5 ERA last year, so that's exciting. So, I mean, guys like that are coming back, but apparently, at least according to the transaction log. But yeah, man, I'm not. We can only work with what we can work with on that, I guess. Yeah. Rain Supple, great name. Back.
It is a phenomenal name.
It's kind of hot, man. Nick Zegna, I think, is supposed to be back. He had 13 starts. He didn't show out, but at least he eats some innings. So there's that. Maybe see if he does a little better in his age 25 season.
I have nothing to add on Glacier as a whole because I was not digging through transaction logs to try and find names that may be there.
I mean, I did a bit, but I didn't. Basically, the time spent doing that was the time that prevents you from really doing a deep dive. So, yeah,
Yeah, so going forward, we have Grand Junction, a team that got saved by the bell of us not doing this yesterday, so good for them. They finished 12th last year, no playoffs here. They do have a roster to discuss here. Zeb Rose is a guy I kind of like. Kendall Foster, I think, could be sneaky. And Isaac Nunez. There's batters. I like those three. Pitching wise, I think there's a couple guys that are more hit or miss here. Zaborowski is a guy that I think is good. Reese Miller, I like. Ty Atkins is interesting. Evan Massey is interesting. Aiden Alger is another interesting name. I think there's a lot of fairly interesting players here that could pop up, but in the end, and again, just don't know if the depth is quite there.
Yeah, and this one I actually have less to say on because I actually have nothing done because I didn't get to Grand Junction because the other teams were taking all my damn time. So I didn't even know they had a roster. That's why when you said they were 6, I think that was the one that I didn't have on my end because I was like, oh, I didn't even see that one come through.
Yeah, I only noticed last night. Yeah, I found that out 12 hours ago that there was a roster for them.
And also, like, can we like alphabetize this or something? Goodness.
Yeah.
And Evan Massey, I mean, he did throw a lot of innings last year. Also, a lot of hits, so it's a tough one. I remember I did do projections for him, and he had a 5.2 ERA last year, and actually projected to be potentially worse. So, not the best sign. I hate being negative. I'm also trying everyone I grab. I'm like, oh wait, no, this is negative. Dude, I don't even know. Zeb Rue is one of my favorite names out there, but don't really have anything on him yet. I don't know. I have like nothing to add on this team. Sorry, Pioneer League. I don't know. Put out your rosters not like the day of, or maybe like do a little more communication. I'm trying not to just like rant about how annoyed I am, but that's fine. We're doing the podcast anyway.
We're off to a great
start. I disappoint people who are very excited for the Pioneer League and they get this for the preview, but that's on me, I guess. I don't know. Or it's on you. I don't know.
I think it's on the 6 members of this league that decide, nah, we're going to wait on rosters. I should say the 6 that decide we're not going to put rosters up and we're not going to leak them to the guys that do the Pioneer League preview and have been saying for a month, we're going to do it this week and gave you a time.
Well, I don't think they listen to us much.
Well, some do.
Is the vibe I've gotten in some conversations with the league office. Ethan Brown's interesting, by the way. Saw him a little bit. Tons of strikeouts, but he also walks guys. But I remember seeing him and I was like, that guy's fascinating. I watched him last year. But I don't know, man. I'm trying to find more. I feel bad.
So up next is Great Falls, finished 11th, no postseason last year. I actually kind of like their pitching. Jeff Nickel and Ryan Major, I really like. Podcool is interesting as well. Rojas is kind of cool. AJ Fritz, if I'm right, is a 2-way guys. That's interesting. And Jason Pineda. Pitching. Those guys were all hitters. My mistake. I forgot how I did my notes up. So I like their hitting, but their pitching kind of sucks. Jason Pineda is the only guy there. And AJ Fritz is a 2-way guy, but I don't know how much he's going to contribute on both sides of the field there. Again, I want to say more about him, but I don't really have too much else there. Batting depth could be there, but like I said, you need at least some pitching depth to make it in this league, and I just don't necessarily know if they got it.
Yeah, hold on. It's also the league with the most turnover, which also makes it so difficult. Because a lot of times it's like, well, I can at least go off of what they did last year and what they probably should have, like what the peripherals are saying. But like, when it's like you're bringing back 6 dudes from last season, I'm like, all right, I don't know what to do with that. Yeah, I mean, there's more hitters I can say something about on this team. I think Ryan Major's interesting. Hit 7 home runs last year, played the full season, so not a ton of power, but like did handle business, almost a 400 on base. Freddie Rojas, how long was he there last year? He was there the whole season. That's right. Freddie Rojas put really good numbers, so that's exciting to see him back. The other guys are more like in-betweeners. Frank Podkol, I'm interested to see if what goes on with him. It's like his age 30 season. Interesting. On the pitching side, I do like AJ Fritz coming back. He's a guy who can, when he throws strikes, really good. Keeps him on the yard, which is sick. Jason Pineda, Nate Mottage, they're both sort of no-brainer, bring him back type of guys. That could be 3 rotation spots filled right there, just with guys who already have Pioneer League experience, which is great. So that's helpful. But again, it will be a depth question, as you said, and I don't know how many. I think they're better than they were last year, but I don't know how much better it's going to be. Especially when with this weird schedule, they're probably playing Missoula more than a lot of other teams are.
Yeah. So interesting times in Great Falls there. We'll continue moving on, I guess. Idaho Falls is supposed to be next, but no roster there.
Yep.
Any thoughts on that organization?
Is this another one where I actually do? It might be. That's really funny that overlap that way. Hold on. I can give some thoughts on it, actually.
Great.
Because
please do.
I love you and I seem to not be matching at all on teams we've deep dived already, which is pretty fun.
That's great. That's working out really great for us, though.
I mean, I guess
Idaho Falls
it could
got a new website. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I did see that. All right. If we're looking, I mean, Trevor Rogers is one. As long as it's accurate that he's back, he projects to do really well. I would say Jacob Jablonski is another one I'm interested in. That would cover outfield and shortstop between the two of them, unless Jablonski is playing first. I don't really remember what they were thinking about doing with him. When it comes to it, I would say maybe Grady Morgan is also worth watching. Another outfielder there. Just the guy who could be posting a pretty good OPS over the year. Then on the pitching side, I have a pretty complete outlook on what we have going on there, but not the most impressive outlook on it. Let me see. Let me at least grab a couple standouts for the conversation here. Guys like, if we're looking at the rotation, Caleb Reyes is probably in there, but he projects to be like a 6.8 ERA type of guy. Steven Odorica, he could be pretty good, but I see him in the bullpen probably. Owen Schartz is back. He's probably a sub 6 ERA guy, which I guess is a flex at this point, pitching in the league. Yeah, Idaho Falls last year was giving up like 9 runs a game. I do think they improved that. I mean, they seem to be improving that. I would say maybe even I would say they're probably going to go from the second worst pitching staff to a top half pitching staff at this rate. So that's exciting. They brought back a lot of guys, but I think they brought back the right guys. They also added like Nathan Hemmerling, who was, I think he pitched for Hawaii last year, or was he one of the guys who's just in the whack? There's a bunch of whack guys who show up. And then Garrett Crowley, I think of Tyler Dyball, Connor Harrison, Nathan Hemmerling, 2 of the 3 are Hawaii guys. So I might have gotten the wrong one. And then Garrett Crowley he was with Glacier last year, and he's an interesting addition too. He'll be in the bullpen. But yeah, honestly, I do think they've improved. I'm a little concerned about who's going to cover innings for them, but that'll be worked out.
I don't have any real comments because I didn't see a roster. I wasn't digging through transactions. I think I made that pretty clear at this point. So I will say, though, this retro hat that they're selling is kind of cool as hell.
Sick, gotta be honest.
Yeah, I may have dumped the IF off of there and just went with the Chief hat, but still pretty cool. Like it. That's my full thoughts. Up next, Missoula. Missoula is interesting because technically speaking, there is a roster for Missoula. The catch is they only have one name on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
He's going to be covering a lot of it.
Exactly. It's going to be one hell of an athlete to be able to do this. So,
I mean, Missoula's probably going to be good, and that's probably their preview.
Yeah. So I don't have anything else to really say because I don't say about the organization or the team itself. Go for it here, but I got nothing.
I mean, we'll see if this year they can get it done. I don't know. I'll probably revisit it at some point, either on this channel or the next channel when we learn more about the roster. But
yeah. All right. Up next, NOCO, 3rd in the league. No playoffs because half system. No roster available for them either. Organizational or other thoughts on them?
Probably gonna be a mess. I mean, I think you're gonna get a lot of guys. There's so much talk about maybe try to stay out of there that I would be surprised if they're not getting most of the guys who don't have other options. So doesn't mean they have to be bad, but it is not a great indicator on the quality of the team. So That would be my warning, but we'll learn more when we actually know the whole roster.
Exactly right. I won't even mention the
This is
Noko video.
This is a weird one. This is a weird one. You know what? No, I'm going to back off that because they do seem, at least in the transactions, to have changed something that I was going to mention. But so never mind, is what I'll say. Avoid the one red flag, but there's plenty of others to go around.
So we'll leave the Noko thing alone for now. Ryan will be discussing his Noko video that I'm sure will come out before 2026. Following now, we have Oakland. They were second in the league. A first-round exit at the hands of the YOLO High Wheelers. They have no roster available at the moment. Thoughts on Oakland in any capacity?
No, not really. Hold on.
They posted it. They just posted it now. Thanks, guys, for posting it on the morning of. I appreciate you. I don't have much to say because I'm not going to be able to dig through 40 names right this second here, but I'll quickly see if there's a name I acknowledge or no.
Maybe next year we'll spend more time and just do a Pecos preview.
Oh, United Shore League, you may be up.
Yeah, right. Honestly, talk about a league that I'm actually not unimpressed by. I've had a lot of feedback that the USPBL has basically dunked the Empire League out of existence in the mind of a lot of players.
Let's see. Zach St. Pierre, I think, could be good again.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm still trying to get the roster up. Here we go.
Yeah, Luke Short.
And it's still the same ridiculous setup for a website listing for a roster. It's like,
yeah,
what are we doing out here? There it is. If I go full screen, at least I can actually sort it by last name, which I couldn't before. So we got some guys I actually have some scouting on.
Well, that's good.
Which is exciting. We have some vibes here.
Second, but they waited till the morning of. I mean, better than a lot of you guys that just straight up did not. I mean, it's noon on the East and we don't have it yet. Daryl Bugg's kind of interesting as I try to do this on the fly. So annoyed at this.
I like Christian Almanza.
I was just looking at him. Strikeouts are a little high for me, but hey, everyone's going to have some sort of flaw.
There's potential for some crazy numbers out of him if he's what I think he could be. Tyler Lozano could be solid. He was here last year. He could be like an 850 OPS type dude. Michael O'Hara, he can also steal some bags. He can hit home runs, that's for sure. Kind of can steal some bags. Love that. Dylan Tatum's interesting. That's kind of about what I got. Trimming Cobb, Cameron Buford. On the pitching. Right, any other hitters stick out?
I mean, I'm going through it as you're reading them off, so I don't really have too much of a timeline to go on here. Tremaine Cobb, I'm just looking at now that I like. I know you just said him though. Yeah, I'm trying to go through names here, but I mean, there's 40 of them, and we have other teams that put a roster out that I want to get to, so I'm not going to spend too much time on them. But
Ethan Paulson, Connor Richardson on the pitching side are interesting.
Yeah, Travis Druick could be something. Walks a lot, but he strikes out a lot.
Or Connor rather just walks and gives up home runs. But Alec Rodriguez, I liked him early scouting. Brody Egglight as well.
Yeah, so I don't know what more there really is here.
Luke Short. I think Alec Rodriguez, Luke Short, Zach St. Pierre, I think could all be starter potential. Adam Bogosian. We'll see. It depends on how they want to use them.
Daniel Harris, maybe too. I mean, I'd like to do more of a dive on this. I mean, that's out there now, but I don't want to take too much more time on it. So, I mean, interesting. We'll see on it. Wish you guys would have put it up 12 hours ago. That's all I'm going to say. Because if you would have been able to actually do something with this. It seems like they went heavy on getting guys out of the draft league from Trenton, though. So, could be something there. Yeah. Ogden was supposed to be up next, 9th, no playoffs, but no roster from Tat Daddy. So, we will see on that. I don't know.
I have some for them. I think Connor Bagnaski might be back. Cole Jordan on the hitting side. Christopher Sargent Jr. might be back again, which is good. On the pitching end of things, I'm interested in Matthew Colucci, if that's how you're saying that. If he is still on the roster, which I think he might be, that's a fascinating guy who could also eat some innings. Anyone else? Bryson Van Sickle. He was in the Pac-12 last year, I believe. He shows potential, put up some good numbers. Doesn't walk a lot of guys and kind of pitches the contact without getting hurt, which is not bad. Good fit for Ogden potentially if that maintains. And then I think I have one more guy that stuck out. Braden Bonner is interesting. He was with Ogden and Lake Erie last year.
Yeah. I have nothing really out on Ogden, except for my usual. Please, for the love of God, don't post every picture again.
Right.
It clutters the feed, and the fact there's no caption makes it kind of weird, guys.
Be a marketing guy. Hey, man.
Hey, they got their own thing going on up there, so. Rocky Mountain up next, 8th in the league last year. No postseason. You want to kick off Rocky Mountain, or do you want me to go through about 7 names I got down here?
I have officially one guy scouted for Rocky Mountain, so you can do what you want.
Who's your one guy?
Chris Wright. Is he still on the roster, do you think?
I have a Kerry Wright. I don't have a Chris Wright.
That's a tough scene.
Yeah. Caden Kratz was solid. Gabe White was solid. Craig Sherrier, which Craig spelled with a C. R-E-G-G.
That's not. Oh. Yikes.
Because that's got to be pronounced Craig, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so interesting way to spell Craig, unless it's Krieg. But that'd be extremely off. Sam Linscott, Stephen Wilmer, and Dane Toffland. All are guys I like. Only 3 on the batting side, 4 on the pitching side. I'm concerned being up in Colorado Springs, how that ball is going to fly. So, I mean, it does incentivize you to not necessarily go out and go as heavy for batting because you're going to get kind of a natural boost from it. So, trying to get better pitches to keep the ball down is probably a good way to go on it. Again, it's a depth thing, but everyone has a depth issue here. I don't know how it's going to work out there. I think there's enough here where there's questions that I'm not fully engaged with. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, that's what I've got. Definite concerns and question marks, but that's literally all I have.
That brings us to the last team then. The formerly YOLO, but now Yuba Sutter High Wheelers finished 4th in the league last year. They won the league championship. And they have an interesting group of guys. Bobby Ladd, as he did, I like a lot. Gio Brusa, I think, could be very solid. Other batters, Barry, Orsic, and Giron. All are interesting to me, pitching-wise. Zalaski, very intrigued by him. Jonah Jenkins, I think, has some sneaky potential there. Same thing with Womble. And then Chris Angle, I like him a lot there, too.
Let me see what I got here. Not a ton, and that's basically because I was like, I already have the roster. I'll look at them last. And then every other roster took so much homework that I'm like, okay. So I probably owe them a deeper dive. So when it comes to, I'll start on the pitching side looking at it. There's some returners who are, I like Brandon McPherson. He pitched well, and he also covered almost like 90 innings last year. In the bullpen, Chris Anglin, Jack Zalaski, they had like a really good crew of bullpen guys kind of cycle throughout the year. Andrew LaCour, he was there he was only there for part of the year, but he looked nasty. What was his strikeout numbers? I remember right. It was 12.3 per 9, so that'll play. Did walk some guys though, but just kind of got away with it, so you might want to watch that. He didn't give up a ton of hits, which is kind of where what you'd expect for like hits allowed seemed to sort of come off of his hits total and shove over to his walks total. So I guess it all sort of came out in the wash. But yeah, as long as that stays, that feels like a precarious balance, I'd say, but hopefully it shouldn't throw him off too bad. I mean, I don't remember how old he even is, but I'm not going to do the math on that birthday right now. So on the batting side, I mean, Bobby Latta coming back is key. Kirkland Banks coming back is a good thing. Other than that, I don't have a lot of info on those guys. Have not gotten a chance to start those deep dives even, but yeah, I mean, YOLO should be, they're stacking up like a competitive team. Just having that kind of pitching show up to the party is a better head start than most teams are going to have.
Yeah, I like them overall. I have more confidence in the organization as a whole too. So I kind of dig YOLO this year. But
yeah, I mean, it feels.
Oh, not YOLO, Yuba. My mistake.
Oh, sorry, Yuba.
Yeah, that's going to take a while to get used to. So that's every team that at least we can find a roster for. And that's pretty much it here. I mean, we could do most surprising, most disappointing in storyline, but I mean, we realistically, storyline is the only one that we could do with any sort of, confidence, I guess. Everything else, there's not enough rosters out to do it. So,
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is on that one.
Total shot in the dark just for the postseason here, which is going to be wrong because, again, I don't have enough information to really make a confident decision on. Give me Oakland over Missoula in 3. I don't know why. I just kind of feel like that's going to happen.
I do feel like we're probably going to see 3 of the 4 teams from last year come back into the playoffs.
Yeah, I have Missoula, Yuba, Oakland, Ogden, just because why not Ogden? I want more Cat Daddy in my life.
My bold take might be Missoula, Oakland, Yuba, and Boise.
I could see Boise. I don't think Boise's outrageous. I mean,
because
there's only 7 teams on the roster at the moment.
In my initial thoughts, I was like, I don't see them jumping up to the top 4, but realistically, I kind of do. I see other teams falling out of the top 4, namely NOCO. So,
okay. No, to be fair, NOCO didn't even make it last year. That'd be Glacier's spot they'd be taking.
Right, but I think Glacier is taking a step back, and I think NOCO is. NOCO had the wins theoretically to make it happen if they were having a different order. We came to the half system, and I don't think that we're going to see that again.
That's entirely fair. Yeah. So I don't really have anything else left for this. So
I know I might owe Pioneer League a deeper dive at this point, but
yeah, I mean, I feel bad.
Once we hit this, I'm going to start doing like weekly episodes for each league, so maybe I'll work it in there, but we'll go from there.
Yeah. So like, I will just wrap up by saying I do feel bad that we were able to do a more comprehensive deep dives like we did for the other 3. I do feel like we're kind of shorting them on it, and it was kind of disorganized. So I do feel bad about that. But this is just kind of what we were given to work with here. I mean, we were given 6 rosters in advance of this, and we got a 7th one later on in the last second while we were recording. I don't really know what to say. I can't really do much more than that. It's not even like that 7th roster was an opening day roster. There was 40 names on it. So, like I said, I'll try to make sure we don't short them throughout the year. I'm going to try to do the best we can to make sure we talk about every league every week with, some amount of depth to it. But we will see how everything will wind up turning out in the next year of baseball. So do we have anything else left to add or plugs to do before we bail on this one?
No, I don't think so. I think that's about it. I also feel, because I love Pioneer League, I've spoken to that a bunch of times. I think it's fantastic, but also infuriating when it does things like this. And I wish I could have covered it a little deeper. Part of that is where I put my time and effort into the preview. The other part of it is, what I had to work with, I think. So shared accountability. Yay.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll do some plugs and then we'll get out of here. You want to hit plugs first? You want me to get that?
I'll do it. Indie Ball Nation, keep it out this week because, as I said, now that preview season is basically wrapping up, dropping a video for each league every week and then random stuff throughout it. Like I have a Gastonia video I want to talk about, like going to Gastonia a couple of years after their whole situation with ownership. Right now, I'm currently recording. As I finish up here, I should hit record though for content purposes. Content is king, Poppy. I'm recording a video just because it's the first day of everybody playing ball in indie leagues. So I am just subjecting myself as an unemployed person to at least watching as much as I can of every game and just filming as I slowly lose my mind and spiral out on that. So right now I'm watching Lincoln against Kansas City with Kane County and Cleburne sitting on deck to pop back in between innings. So yeah, I'm unwell. How are you? Oh, that wasn't the question.
I'm so unwell. That's probably the best way to describe that. So yeah, you can find stuff, the usual spots at New Pod and Bar Report, everywhere else. In-season podcast format, we're just hammering that out, and there is an in-season content schedule that I am currently looking on the floor. Just have some logistic stuff to work that out with, but we're going to try to get content at least half of the days in a week. So as of right now, I would personally post something on Monday, then there'd be a Tuesday episode because you guys seem to like that. Then Wednesday, we bring back something that we've done in the past. Thursday, something that's actually probably the most exciting thing for me, that we're trying to just work out the technical and logistical issues that come with it. So hopefully we'll have that sorted soon. Friday, there won't be anything. Saturday will be the usual episode, as you guys know. And then Sunday, if we're behind on anything, would come out on Sunday. So, yeah. That's kind of the general outlook. Hopefully going to get that started in the beginning of June. So we just start first of a month and run through it clean slate, whole nine. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. That's all we got for you. We'll be talking to you again on Saturday. Got a couple pieces of news, and then we have 4 leagues to talk about. So we are fully in the swing of things now. It's now a marathon run until the end of September. So until next time, don't forget to play ball.